Winning in life, yeah. Faith and wisdom by your side. Winning in life, life mastery. Winning in life, winning in life, a life of purpose.
Hello, and welcome to the Winning in Life podcast for this week. This is David. I'm live here every Wednesday when we don't have the Med by Grace show. This is a midweek practical teaching as we continue to unroll the year of increase. And I'm really excited tonight because tonight's topic or episode is emotional intelligence for increase. I believe this is going to be a blessing to somebody here listening to the sound of my voice somewhere around the world. Welcome, come on in, settle down as we sit around a practical teaching today that is sure to add value to your life. I'm really looking forward to this, and I pray that God will speak to you, and somehow, somewhere, you will find the wisdom and the answers that you're looking for before we close this brief podcast. And so, like I said, we are dealing with emotional intelligence today because, and basically the reason we're looking at it is because maturity determines how far you go in life. And while your gifts and your skills, you will open doors for you and they may even take you to the top, it is your character, which is directly linked to emotional intelligence, that actually keeps you there. And so essentially we're talking about the very survival of your gift, of your the very sustenance of your success, and whatever it is that God has blessed you with in this life. And so tonight we kick in, and I'm going to go straight to the 5 lessons that I have in store for you today, and we'll pick it from there. So why don't we dive in? Let's do this. So lesson number 1 today that I want to teach is defining the concept. So what is emotional intelligence? You might ask, what is emotional intelligence? I'm going to try to define it in the simplest terms, and I would like to define emotional intelligence as the ability to manage your emotions. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage emotions, but it doesn't end there. It is also the ability to understand other people's emotions or understand others. It doesn't quite end there. It is also the ability to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. So if you were to put that together to define emotional intelligence, you would say it is one's ability to understand their own emotions as well as the emotions of others so as to respond wisely in any situation as compared to reacting impulsively or out of impulse. There you go. So that is the hybrid, if you like, explanation put together. Let's see if we can have a look at scripture today, since we are doing a teaching with the word of God. Proverbs 16 and verse 32. For Proverbs 16:32, I'll let you find it. I'm going to read it for you. Proverbs chapter number 16 and verse 32. I'll read it for you. The Bible says, "He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty. And he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city." Notice what value the Bible places on emotional intelligence. It says, if you can be emotionally intelligent, you are more powerful than the man who is mighty in strength. If you can rule your emotions, you are more powerful than a man who has taken a city, an army general, soldier, whoever who has taken a city, because emotional intelligence is much, much higher. A lot of people are intrigued and interested in, IQs and all that, the IQ, the intelligence quotient, but they often forget and ignore the emotional part, your EQ. And today, that is what we're going to focus on and really dwell. There are many people out there who have made it all the way to the top, and they, because they were intelligent, they got the best grades, they got the best experience, but once they're there, they don't know how to manage their teams. They are an emotional wreck. They react to everything immaturely, and so they lose what God has placed in their hands, because that equates to a failure in character. And this is why discussing emotional intelligence is of the utmost importance today. So number one lesson is just to define what emotional intelligence, and I hope everybody's on the same page now. We all know what we're talking about. It is your ability to be able to understand your own feelings. Can you understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling? When you do get angry, can you understand why you got angry in that moment? Most of the time, it is not even because of the issue at hand that we feel the way we feel. There are other underlying matters that are making us feel how we feel, or making us respond to a certain situation the way we are responding to that situation. And so asking the questions of, why did I react this way? Why am I feeling this way? Why did I get angry? Why am I feeling frustrated? Why do I feel lonely? Why do I feel left out? Why do I feel neglected? The answer behind that is the key to harnessing your emotional intelligence, because then you can begin to deal with the root cause of your feelings. So it's no longer just on the endocrine level, if you like, endocrine system level, where your hormones are, neurotransmitters and all that ruling your body and your mind and your decisions, because the certain neurotransmitters are released in your bloodstream because of how you're feeling at the time. If you can back up a little bit and ask yourself, how did I get here? In other words, what caused my brain to release these particular hormones or chemicals in my system that are making me feel the way I feel? Now you are tapping into real emotional intelligence. In the same way, meaning is not found in words, but in people. So when people say things to you or act a certain way around you, when you understand that there's a deeper meaning and there's a reason why people behave the way they behave, your emotional intelligence is grown. Because now, you remember, part of your emotional intelligence is understanding other people as well. So not judging people merely based on what you see on the surface, but going beneath the surface and really understanding what makes people tick and what makes people respond a certain way. You are now beginning to master your EQ, because you're not only understanding yourself and your own behaviors and your own decisions and feelings, but you're also understanding how other people are processing their feelings. And now, armed with these two tools together, you can now make decisions that are emotionally intelligent and that are not impulsive just based on what it looks like on the surface. I hope we are on the same page. And as I have already promised, Wednesdays, I try to keep it nice and short. So we'll be here for some half an hour or so. Let's see if we can do number 2. Lesson number 2 today. It comes in form of the question: why emotional maturity matters for increase? Because we're dealing with emotional intelligence for increase. In case you have forgotten, today we're dealing with emotional intelligence for increase. And so the next lesson is, why does emotional intelligence matter when it comes to increase? Remember, this is our year of increase. We believe in God for big things. We believe in God for increase. And so the question is, why does that matter? And so, you see, first thing you must understand is increase exposes you. The more you accumulate, the more you increase, the more successful you become, the more spotlight you get on you, the more people get interested in your life, and the more scrutiny you go under. The more hackers you pick up, unfortunately, and also you pick up funds, you pick up all sorts of things that happen along the way. And so increase exposes you on a higher level, if you like. You become more vulnerable. In other words, you're more visible when you increase. You get more criticism as well. You not only that, there are some good things. You get more responsibility. And I'm not going to quote Spider-Man with great power comes great responsibility. I'll leave that alone. But you also get more stress, the more you increase. And it's about managing all these things, understanding how to manage your increased responsibility, how to manage the increased stress, stress will always be part of life. You can never completely get rid of it. It's impossible. In fact, it's a gift from God. God gave it to us as a survival technique. It is only toxic when it begins to be dilapidating. In other words, if it begins to stop you from living your daily life or doing normal things every day, now it becomes a problem. We need to deal with that. But it is just like pain is a gift. Stress is in the same category, because if the first time you touch something hot, you didn't feel anything, you're going to touch it again, you're going to burn yourself. But it is a defense mechanism that is designed to help us. Even fear, fright, fight, things that happen to you when you when you're alarmed in your system, and adrenaline, which is one of the chemicals I'm dealing with, we're talking about hormones that get released in your bloodstream that cause your heart rate to go up and to react in that way. If you like panic a little bit and stress a little bit, it is a defense mechanism. It is good for you. It is designed to keep you alive. Glory to God. And it is about understanding that there is nothing wrong with it. It is when it goes out of hand. The same way mental health is no. It is when things go out of hand, then that they become a problem. And so you must understand that with increase comes more influence. With increased influence comes more pressure in life. And it's about understanding this pressure. We actually live in a pressure-cooked society. Everything is pressure, fast, microwave, this, that. Everybody wants everything fast. And so you must understand this. Now, if you cannot manage some of these things that I'm going to mention right now, then you will sabotage your own growth. So if you cannot manage, number one, offense. If you cannot manage offense, every time somebody says something, whether you're the leader or the manager, the pastor, whatever organization you're part of, even if you're not in the position of leadership, if you cannot manage offense, you will not get very far. One, as a leader, you will not be a very good leader because you'll be snapping and treating your people under you in a bad way. If you are under authority, you will probably get fired if you can't handle offense, because sometimes you will get offended. And it takes a courageous, strong person to resist the urge to react impulsively. And so emotional intelligence becomes critical in that situation. So offense. Another aspect I'll mention, I'll just mention about 4 of them, 4 examples of things that if you fail to manage will sabotage your own growth and your increase this year. So offense is the first one I'm dealing with. The second one, and you notice I'm not digging deeper into them, but I'm mentioning them and briefly saying something because we can manage the half an hour that we have to get. The second thing is rejection. Can you handle rejection? Because rejection is a part of life. What do you mean, David? You will get a heart broken sometime by a lover, a girlfriend, a wife, maybe from a marriage. Whatever it is, the rejection comes in different forms. Rejection can come from your workplace. You might be made redundant. You might get fired. You will feel rejected. Rejection might come in the cafeteria. You're not even fired, but maybe certain people don't like to sit with you at the dinner table. You feel rejected. Rejection can come through a job interview. Maybe you've been applying for job interviews and the answers have been no, and you don't understand the law of averages, that you've got to get the no's before you can get to the yes, and it's normal. And you might be feeling rejected as a result. Many examples I can give regarding rejection that can happen in any sphere of life. It could be in church where you feel you have certain giftings and you should be doing certain things, and maybe you just feel they're giving other people to do those things. Now you begin to feel rejection. I can give many examples of how one could feel rejection. Emotional intelligence will help you deal with rejection much better than if you didn't have it. Okay, so offense, rejection. The third thing, 2 more. So number 3 is delays. If you don't know how to handle delays in life, you will make desperate decisions. You will make the wrong decisions, trying to cut corners, trying to get to the top too quickly, because you don't understand the power of delayed gratification, for instance. Some people want to get rich quick, famous quick, and so they cut corners and even end up compromising their integrity by doing the wrong things that basically sabotages their character because they want to get there yesterday. But delay is a part of life. Sometimes being delayed on a journey might prevent a terrible accident on the road for you. You know, sometimes delaying, especially young people, I say to young people, don't rush love. Delay it as much as you can, because at the right time, it will be sweet. When you rush into it too early, you end up getting heartbroken too early. You end up practicing divorce way too early, because chances are you're probably not going to marry the first person that you kiss, or that you end up with, that you hook up with, or whatever it is word you want to use, a first boyfriend, a first crush, or whatever. And so if you start way too early, before your time, before you mature, you are just practicing divorce, quite literally, because you're now a pro at splitting up. So now, even when you're in the real deal, which is the marriage, it's easy to walk away. You've done it 20 times already. You started at 13 or however old you were. I see kids that young these days in relationships. I have no idea how that happened. But hey, I'll leave that alone for now. In case there are some parents here that are dealing with that, don't be so harsh on yourself. It is well. May the Lord help you. But delay is a part of life, and sometimes you have to practice this. I teach a lot of financial literacy, and one of the things I teach is delayed gratification. Things like don't go shopping on the day that you get paid. Because you're too excited, you feel that you think you're loaded because you haven't paid all the integral bills yet. And so you are even buying things that you have no business buying. So delayed gratification means wait a little bit, sober up, do it the following day or even 2 days after that. And by then, maybe some direct debits would have gone out and you're a bit more sober. So delayed gratification will prevent you from making harsh decisions. Salesmen are very good at rushing you into making decisions that you wouldn't otherwise have made had you taken more time. They will tell you things like, oh, this is the last television set that will ever be created in this video. If you don't get it today, tomorrow it won't be there. No. There will be another television set tomorrow. Oh, this is the last car of this kind. Listen, there will be other cars. All right. Have you seen those shops that the first week they're opening the shop, they already have in their store window, closing down soon, sale going on. Dude, you've been closing down for the past 6 years. They're creating a sense of agency. They want you to quickly think it's going to run out, so let me buy. They want you to spend money you don't even have. And so delay, understanding how to handle delay is critical for success in life and for increase in life. And so your emotional intelligence is what's going to help you, emotional stability, where you're not moved by the agency created by salesmen or other people because you panic and you are impulsive, but you are measured. You can breathe and go to sleep without giving an answer and give it the following day when you've had time to process it, or give it 2 hours, 3 hours later, whatever it is, when you've had time to process it. So that's the third part. Now, the fourth thing I want to look at, and then we'll move on to the next lesson. We're still at lesson 2, why emotional maturity matters for your increase. The fourth thing is correction. Can you handle correction? Are you humble enough to receive correction? If you do something wrong, are you mature enough to say, I'm sorry, you're right, I was wrong? You see, people who fail to apologize, people who fail to see the faults in their ways, people who fail to handle correction are emotionally immature. They are still kids, they are still young emotionally. I'm not saying this to insult anybody. I'm just saying it as it is. If you cannot handle correction, you cannot handle correction in a mature way, you have a lot of growing up to do, because in life you will get corrected. Your pastor will correct you probably every Sunday in his sermons. It's amazing, because I've been preaching since I was 12 years old, and I know this for a fact, that every time you preach, there is somebody in the audience getting offended. Not because you want to offend people, but just because the word that you teach will touch people differently. Somebody will be elected, somebody will be excited by something you say, somebody will be like, oh, light bulb moment by what you say, but there will still be somebody who will be like, I can't believe he just said that. I wonder if he was listening to my conversation. Is it because of what I said to him? But it's impossible to preach for even half an hour and not be able to elicit all sorts of emotions from different kinds of people in your audience. And that is okay. So as an emotionally stable person, you must be able to handle correction. Okay? I often say it's the mature person, I'm sure you've heard it somewhere before, who apologizes first. Even though they may not have been in the wrong. Why? Because they are emotionally mature. Emotional intelligence is powerful because it will help you handle offense. Listen, I used to struggle with outbursts of anger. I used to be a very angry young man before God helped me. And once in a while, that little thing want to come up when people want to go against me in a terrible way, and I have to use the emotional intelligence God has blessed me with to keep myself on the ground. Otherwise you see me slap somebody, I'm like, oh, I can't believe you could do that. Listen, all of us are capable of doing things that people think we cannot do. And this is why a lesson like this, emotional intelligence becomes really important, because maybe you are in an environment that is full of saints. But in my world that I live in, there are some annoying people. There are some people that say things that you just want to. They are. Some of you, it's even our own kids at home. You just feel like you want to lash out, but you can't do it. You gotta contain yourself. And this is why emotional intelligence comes in here. Otherwise, you'd be like, God, the kids died. How did they die? Well, I'm not very sure, but listen, I pray that God will help you. I know you want to slap your boss sometimes. I know you want to give him a piece of your mind. I know when you're on the road, listen, I drive. I see some very annoying drivers on the road. Some of them will just overtake you and catch you right in front. I'm like, why? And then you feel like going back to overtake them so you can just let them know that they were wrong. No matter how long it takes. I've done this before. Followed somebody for a long time until I can just make eye contact and let them know that they were wrong. But maybe it's just me. You are a saint. You don't have any of those problems in your life. But thank God for emotional intelligence, because now I understand that no matter how upsetting other drivers get you on the road, the best thing you can do, and I do this, I practice this, I've set boundaries to help myself with my emotional intelligence. I pull off at the next possible service station. If I'm on the motorway, the M1, driving between London and the north of England, listen, pull up, cool off, take a walk in the car park, have some water, drink whatever you like, then get back on the road. You are better doing that, and then you can carry on going, and that person is gone and it's history. But if you stay on the road and you can probably even see the car, it will continue to aggravate you. And some people are just deliberately annoying. I see people racing, for instance, on the motorway. So they will annoy you so that, because it's not just once, they will come back and they'll come and do it again. And they're racing each other and they're putting everybody's life at risk and in danger. And you have every right to be upset. However, if you allow it to get it to you, you are now going to begin to respond in a way that you shouldn't be responding. You also join the foolish club. So now there are 3 fools on the road instead of just the 2 racers that were racing each other. I'll leave that alone. You catch my drift. See what I'm saying? So emotional intelligence will help you deal with offense. It will help you deal with rejection better, so that you don't spiral into depression and you want to end it and all that. It will help you deal with that. Emotional intelligence will help you deal with delays of life, because they are part of life. It will help you deal with correction. Listen, if I were to add a 5th one, I would say it will help you deal with the ups and downs of life, because life has them, whether you like it or not. There is always going to be night. There's always going to be day. There's always going to be dark. There's always going to be light. There's always going to be good. There's always going to be bad. And that's why every day there will be terrible things, there will be good things. There will be nice people, there will be not so nice people. And that is just a part of life. And your emotional intelligence, your EQ, will help you deal with the ups and downs of life. That wasn't part of my lesson, but I'm adding it as a 5th one. Emotional intelligence will help you deal with the ups and downs of life. Okay, let's see if we can move on to the 3rd lesson. But before we move to the 3rd lesson, perhaps I like to give case studies and examples from the scripture. Let's see if we can look at Joseph a little bit. Joseph was betrayed, okay? Remember that, by Potiphar's wife. But first was betrayed by his own brothers, actually. And then he was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife of something he did not do. And then on top of that, he was imprisoned. Talk about injustice. A lot of people say, oh, I hit her because of how she spoke to me. No, dude. What she did was her responsibility, speaking to you the way she did. Your response is your responsibility, how you respond to that. And that's where emotional intelligence comes in. A lot of people who go around hating people and abusing, especially the other gender, listen, it's a lack of emotional intelligence. You're not emotionally mature, so you're lashing out. You don't know how to deal with things without violence. You're still a child, and you need to grow up. The day you grow up, that's the last day you will lay a hand on your lady, because you are mature now. And it doesn't matter how much she speaks to you, what insults, it doesn't matter how provocative her voice is, how you respond is your responsibility. And the more emotionally mature you are, the better and more measured your response will be. Okay, so look at Joseph. Joseph in Genesis 50 verse 20, Genesis 50:20. Here is what he says: what you meant for evil, Joseph says this, against me, God meant it for good. So Joseph had emotional maturity. He processed pain without poisoning his future. And so when you refuse to process your pain correctly, you sabotage your own future. And Joseph did not do that because he had a greater IQ and he had great emotional intelligence. And so that is why God trusted him with increase. God will only trust you with increase if he can trust that you can handle your emotions. Otherwise, we will all be in trouble if you can't keep your emotions in measure and God gives you everything you want. Let's see if we can go to lesson number 3. Lesson number 3 is signs of emotional immaturity. Signs emotional immaturity block increase. I'm going to give you some signs that how that emotional immaturity blocks increase. In other words, emotional immaturity blocks increase. Let's keep it simple and put it like that. And so let's look at this. Let's get practical for a moment. Emotional maturity shows up in different forms. And I'm going to give you some examples of how you can diagnose emotional immaturity in your life or in the people that you mentor or coach or that you lead around you in their lives. If you want to help them, maybe it could be your children, it could be people in your team. I'm going to give you some examples. Maybe we'll just do about 6 or so examples of how you can diagnose emotional immaturity, if you like, where your emotional intelligence is lacking. And in this case, you cannot experience increase if you are not able to manage this. If you are unstable in your emotions, this is a direct sabotage, direct attack on your vision, on your future, on your dreams, and on your increase this year. So let's see if we can look at these examples of how you can diagnose immaturity in your emotions. So number 1, overreacting to criticism. Number 1 symptom of emotional immaturity is overreacting to criticism. Listen, if you don't get any criticism in your life, you're not doing anything worth criticizing. Anytime you are so peaceful in your life and nobody criticizes you, everybody likes you, listen, you're not doing anything in your life. If you are doing anything at all, people will talk, people will criticize, there will be somebody out there who will criticize you if you're doing something significant in your life. If you don't get any criticism, you should probably wonder, am I actually doing anything? Because trust me, there will be people that criticize. So one of the most important things you must understand is being able to recognize that if you struggle to deal with criticism, you are lacking in your emotional intelligence. And the second thing is taking everything personally. Okay, don't take everything too seriously and definitely not too personally. Sometimes people will criticize the organization that you're leading or that you're working for. Don't take it personally. Sometimes people will criticize your family, or sometimes they'll criticize your team. This is critical, especially in football. I have seen people kill each other over a football match that they were watching on a television set in a bar. Okay, just because the other one criticized the other person's team. And these people were in a different country in Africa supporting 2 premiership teams that they've never seen, that they will never even go to that stadium. And these people are earning millions per game or per year, whatever, when they play these games. And people still get embroiled in fights because of a lack of emotional intelligence. Okay, taking everything personally. They criticized Henry, but you got offended. They criticized Ferguson, you got offended. They criticized Mourinho, I don't know who else is out there in football these days. But they criticized, Jesus. I don't know why they call him Jesus. His name is Jesus. Anyway, I'll leave it alone. But you got offended just because you support the team that you played. But stop taking things too personally and learn to breathe and say, okay, that's not directed at me. That's not me. And even if it was directed at you, you still don't have to respond impulsively. That is emotional intelligence. The measure of your strength is not from how much strength or pain you can inflict, but how much restraint you can apply, even though you have the ability to hurt somebody. If you can restrain and hold yourself back, that is the hallmark. That is a sign of your greatness and your maturity. I hope this is helping somebody today. Number 3 symptom of emotional immaturity is quitting quickly. Are you a quitter? Do you quit every time the going gets tough? Do you quit every time somebody criticizes you? Do you quit every time it doesn't go your way? Do you quit every time you can't see the way forward? Are you a quitter? If that is you, this is one of the symptoms of emotional immaturity. But you can change this and turn it around by refusing to quit and finding a way forward. There's always a way forward. Just because you can see it doesn't mean it's not there. There's always a way forward. Let's see if we can move to the next one. Holding grudges. Another symptom. Symptom number 4 of emotional immaturity. You keep a long record of wrongs. Oh, 5 years ago, you did this to me. Emotionally immature. You keep holding a record of wrongs. Even when you said you forgave them, but you didn't really forgive. I know people say forgive and forget. There's no such thing as forgive and forget unless you develop amnesia or God supernaturally takes away the memory. You're going to remember what they did, but just make sure you don't hold it as a grudge. So next time you remember it, smile about it because you've healed on the inside, you've dealt with it, and you've moved on. And God, by his grace, has taken away the sting of the pain. So I'm not saying you're going to forget everything. No, I'm talking about holding grudges. To hold a grudge means that you secretly haven't forgiven. You secretly are still holding on to the pain that was inflicted on you and you haven't let it go. And it's heavy and you're carrying with you. And listen, if it's too heavy, put the thing down. And may God help you to move forward. Am I saying forget about it? No. If you forget, you will continue making the same mistakes. If you forget what he did to you, another fool will come your way and tell you the same lies, and you will fall for them and get hurt all over again because you forgot. You keep forgetting. You're a goldfish. Okay, the reason you keep getting hurt by the same kind of man is because you're a goldfish. The reason you keep getting burnt by the same con men in the world of business is because you're a goldfish. So I'm not talking about being a goldfish. What does David mean by goldfish? Because the goldfish have a very quick memory. They forget everything. That's why my daughter has goldfish and in a tank, and every time they swim around the tank, for them it's the first time, so they love it every time because they forget that they swam there yesterday and they swam there 2 minutes ago, and that's what I mean by that. So don't forget. Learn your lessons from painful things in life, but forgive, and do not hold grudges. It is actually toxic for you. It is not healthy for you. For your mental health, it is not healthy even for your physical health. You begin to develop autoimmune diseases because you're holding on to things on the inside, and certain types of cancers come as a result of that bitterness. Let it go. Let it go. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Okay, let's see for number 5, making decisions from anger. Listen, if somebody has upset you, don't do anything. Don't send that email on the day that you're upset. Don't send the text message. Don't make the phone call. Throw your phone away if you can't resist the urge to respond, because anything that's going to come out of you, whether it's via text or via WhatsApp or via email or via telephone, is probably venomous and toxic because you are hurting. You are upset. Stay away from making important decisions or responses when you have been upset, when you are still angry. Allow yourself to calm down first and then make a move. The same goes to parents and for parents and guardians. Don't discipline your children while you're upset. You will hurt somebody. Calm down first and then deal with the thing. I wish I knew this a long time ago when I was young, because my parents would get angry. My dad would want to smack you, and in that moment he said, if you run away, it's going to get worse. I didn't know that later on parents calm down. So I figured, if I go away and they don't smack me now, it's going to be double. But I didn't know that if I ran away, by the time I come back, he would have come down. Now I know. So kids, I hope you're not listening to this. But listen, do not discipline them in anger, because it might not end well and it might not be very good. It's getting hot in here. Okay, I'm sure Dad is going to listen to this, but what? I'm only saying the truth. Let's see if we can do number 5 and number 6. No, actually number 6, which is the last one in this segment. Then we can do 2 more and then we can pack tonight. Another symptom of emotional immaturity is needing constant validation. If you live for the audience of many, every time you do something, you always want to be validated. You want people to praise you. You want people to say, oh, yes, yes, yes. You cannot do anything without taking applause. You are emotionally immature. You're the type of person who will not secretly give. You want everybody to know what you give. You're the kind of person who will not secretly sweep something. You want everybody, I'm the one who cleaned that up. I'm the one who, you want people to always recognize you and applaud you. You are emotionally immature. But the day you discover that there is power in doing things without seeking approval or praise is the day you grow up emotionally. And that praise and glory, by the way, will still find you, because God is no man's debtor. He will make sure you receive your due promotion. But if you're seeking constant validation, you have some growing up to do. And kids like, oh, well done, it's very good. It's, but when you are emotionally secure, it doesn't matter. Even when you're not acknowledged, you still do the right thing. See, people who are emotionally immature will only do the right thing when somebody's watching. They will only do the right thing when there is something in it for them. But when you're emotionally mature, you will do the right thing because it is the right thing, not because somebody is looking. And so you will not be influenced by social media when you're emotionally mature. You will not let everything going on online, everything people post, influence your everyday life, because you are emotionally mature. You will not get depressed when you get 1 like on your post. The reason you're getting depressed because you've only got 3 likes or 3 shares or whatever, 3 views on your post, is because of your emotional immaturity. You're looking for validation. You're looking. Jesus didn't even get 1 tick, 1 like. There was no Facebook. There was no social media, and yet he knew who he was. Your identity is not tied to how many views you get. Your identity is not tied to how many likes. I've even heard some people say, oh, I've made it in life. I've got 10,000 followers. Come on, dude. Your identity and your worth in life is not tied to the number of followers or views you get. Some people get so many followers because they flash their flesh or their skin or their beauty or whatever. That doesn't make you important. It just shows how petite and how small you are in that sense, in your emotions. Now, am I saying it's a bad thing to grow an audience? Of course, it's good for marketing, good for business, depending on what you're doing. But do not tie your significance to it. And that is what I'm saying tonight. Let's see if we can move this along and unpack. We got 2 more lessons. Can you handle 2 more lessons? Friends, family, Grace Church. Okay, let's do 2 more lessons. I'll be quick with them. Lesson number 4, developing emotional intelligence practically. So we're going to quickly look at this, how you can develop emotional intelligence practically. So James 1:19, the Bible says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Okay, let every man or woman be swift to hear, quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. Deliberately doing this will help you develop your emotional intelligence. So number 1 of lesson 4 is pause before responding. Okay, pause before responding. Number 2 lesson for developing emotional intelligence in a practical sense. By the way, the first one, remember this: slowness protects increase. Okay, and I'll leave that alone. Number 2 part of lesson 4 is separate your feelings from facts. Separate your feelings from facts. Feelings are real, but they are not always accurate. Why? Because they are run by your endocrine system. They are run by your hormones. They are run by chemicals. Feelings are controlled by neurotransmitters, by chemicals, basically. Okay, so if you're going to make your decisions based on chemicals, there's a problem here. So feelings are real. I understand that. You can feel that thing, but don't base your decision just based on how you feel. Look at the truth as well. Look at the facts as well. Look at the data as well. Look at the stats as well. They will inform you. Then you can measure the two, and then you can make a balanced decision. Ask yourself, what is actually true in this situation? Ask yourself, what am I assuming that is not here, best because of how I'm feeling? Number 3, part of lesson 4 is learn to receive correction. Proverbs 12 and verse 1, we're talking about the practical way to develop emotional intelligence. Proverbs 12 and verse 1, whoever loves instruction loves knowledge. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge. Don't be afraid to be corrected. It doesn't make you any less than the person or any unwise, or it doesn't make you feel inferior. No. It actually makes you better. Okay, correction is not rejection. It is refinement. I'll say that again. Correction is not rejection, but refinement. Number 4, part of lesson 4 is process offense quickly. Don't keep grudges. Don't hold on to things. Unforgiveness drives emotional capacity. Okay, it drains rather emotional capacity. So when you refuse to forgive, it will continue to drain you emotionally, because it's not just the person you're punishing, you're also punishing yourself when you refuse to forgive. Bitterness limits your growth and your increase and your expansion in life. So release it quickly and grow even faster. Let's see if we can finish off with lesson 5 today. If you notice, I'm cruising up the end because I want to pack so that we don't make this too long. Lesson 5 today is increase requires internal stability. Your increase this year is going to require internal stability. If your emotions fluctuate wildly, your decisions will also be wildly fluctuative, or if that's an English word. In other words, your decisions will not be stable. They will not be constant. They will be all over the place because your emotions are all over the place. Stable people grow further. When you're stable, you will grow even further. When you're unstable, you will keep shooting yourself in the foot and tripping on yourself and taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And that's going to be the nature of your life because of you're lacking in your EQ. Remember that calm people lead longer. Calm people lead longer. Emotionally intelligent people are trusted with more. Emotionally intelligent people or stable people are entrusted with so much more. I'm going to give you a challenge as I do this week, because I want to pack a practical challenge this week. And this is your challenge. Notice one. Remember, we do it in small bits, not all together. Just one emotional trigger. Just identify one emotional trigger. Pause before reacting when you notice it this week. And then ask yourself, what lesson is here presently? And then choose growth over impulse. So next time you feel emotionally triggered, whether it's anger or anxiety or whatever it is, stop for a moment and ask yourself, whoa, why am I reacting this way? What lesson am I getting here in this moment? How can I respond more emotionally intelligent? And then make a move. Okay? That is your homework this week. Small emotional wins create large shifts in your life. Small emotional wins will create large shifts in your life. Please, if you can, and if you're in a place where you can say this, if you're not, say it in your heart. Say after me, I rule my spirit. I respond with wisdom. I grow through pressure, and God can trust me with increase. That is you, my friend. And I am praying for you. My prayer for you is that God will help you grow emotionally, that God will stabilize your emotions. And these directly affect your mental health, which at some point we'll probably look at that as well in this series. May God help you to be able to respond in a way that is pleasing to Him, and not in a way where you begin to regret. Listen, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Sometimes when you emotionally respond terribly, 2 minutes left, because you're a good person, because you're a Christian, you're already regretting what you said or what you did. But instead of living a life of regret, get into the habit of slowing your response down so that you can process your emotions and your feelings. If you need to do some box breathing or any kind of breathing to calm yourself down, do it. I do it anywhere, and it helps me. Am I perfect? No. That's why I keep saying I do it all the time. I put boundaries in place that will help me. I pull off the motorway. That's a boundary. Why? Because I'm not perfect yet. If I stay there, I might, chase the driver and give him a piece of my mind or whatever. And I don't want to do that. So put boundaries in place that will help you to do this. Your talent may open doors, and it may even get you to the top. But it is your character, which is directly tied to your emotional intelligence and maturity, that determines how long you stay at the top, or in that place, or in that room, or on that stage that God has opened for you. Listen, increase requires stability, and stable people win in life. This has been the Winning in Life podcast with me, David, your friend. Until next week, stay blessed, keep the faith, keep the joy, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I know some of you are watching, some of you are listening on the podcast audio, on radio, and different versions, but hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. And for those of you that are part of the Grace Church Global family, I am excited because this coming Sunday, the 8th, we are meeting in our brand new building, bang in the city center of Bradford, right next to the interchange, train station, coach station, bus station, right there. That's where the Lord has taken us, right in the heart of the city center, to walk away, a stone throw away from the city offices, where the mayor's offices and the MPs and the Lord councillors' offices are right in town. You don't want to miss what God is doing in our generation. Glory to God. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday, bright and early, 10:30 service, 10:30, and it's gonna be awesome. Dedication Sunday. I'll see you soon. Stay blessed, and keep the faith, keep the joy. Ciao, ciao. Bye. Oh, those of you that don't know the address, okay, somebody's asking. It's number 1 interchange, 5 Nelson Street, Latitude House. You'll find us right there, Grace Church Global, right in town in Bradford City Center. If you forget the address or the postcode, which is BD15AX, just ask for where the interchange train station is, or the main train station in Bradford, the main coach station, the main bus station. When you get there, you've arrived, because you just walk 60 seconds and you're inside the building and you found us. God bless you. We'll see you soon. Ciao for now. Ciao, ciao.
Winning in love.